So, okay, good morning. So our yin this morning is going to be mostly focused on the side body for spring. But we're just going to start nice and simply. If you have your bolster or pillow, just go ahead and notice which shin naturally is in front. We'll move the flesh away from the sits bones and bring your bolster in front. We'll just start by closing the eyes, starting to connect with breath, feeling the sits bones drop down. And before we move into any spinal movement, let's just create a nice tall spine to begin with. And if that means you need to wiggle through the shoulders or the neck to get there, shift your weight forward and back, left and right, go ahead and do that. And starting to imagine that the tailbone is unfurling and connecting down into the earth. And slowly reaching out through the crown of the head, connecting up into the sky. And just become aware of any tension in the body, the face. And start to activate the left and right energetic sides of the body by just pretending that there's a line drawn through right in the middle, separating the left half of the body and the right half of the body. And we'll just begin to imagine that we're breathing in and out through the right nostril. Energizing and filling the right side of the body. Like a little breath wave, inhaling up into the nostril and exhaling back out. Just through the right side of the body. And then go ahead and switch. So we're just enlivening the left side of the body. Breathing in and out through the left nostril. Be noticing some things clearing out of that side of the body, and then go ahead and now we'll begin to inhale and exhale evenly through both nostrils. Imagining that breath wave coming in through both nostrils, reaching through the crown of the head, inhale and exhale back down. Go ahead and extend out through that front leg. And we're going to take our bolster and place it on top of the thigh and fold over the leg, letting the head rest down on the bolster. See if you can stay with that even inhale and exhale through both nostrils. Let the jaw come away from the skull. Allowing the weight of the body to come forward and down. So when the mind begins to wander, which is only natural, coming back to the sensation of that breath wave through the nostrils, up through the crown of the head, and exhaling back down. Allowing the low back to soften and expand. Feeling the weight of the body press down. Just as we're holding, notice any shifts that are happening. Places that you're able to connect a little bit more deeply to. One more inhale and exhale on this side. And slowly press yourself up. Feel free to keep the eyes closed. We're just going to switch sides. Placing your bolster mindfully on top of the thigh, letting the body start to hang, starting up a little bit higher if you need to, and slowly melting down and forward. Noticing how just the weight of the body encourages the openness and the shift without needing to do much. Feel the shoulders melt away. The jaw become a little bit heavier. The features of the face soften. And find that even inhale and exhale through both nostrils. Another 5 breaths here. And on the next inhale, go ahead and press yourself back up. We're going to take our bolster to the top or above where your head is going to be. And we're going to swing the legs around. And when we come down, roll down, and then your arms are actually going to be, so the head is below, your arms are going to be lifted onto the bolster behind you. So you want to have enough space there for the shoulders. Feel free to have the knees bent for a minute so you can get the low back all settled. And then so we'll be in this full extension. So here we're going to get a little bit more deep into the energetic work. And as we were breathing through the right and left nostril and then through both nostrils, we're starting to enliven the nadis in the body or the energetic lines in the body. And so we'll stay with the 3 main lines along the spine. So there's Idya on the left side of the body and Pingala on the right. And then Sushumna right in the middle, like 3 lines down the middle of the body. And then across them starts to weave the finer lines. And so as you're inhaling and exhaling, you can imagine like the caduceus, the snake that travels, that sign for medicine. So the snake that travels back and forth, crossing the middle pole. So inhale and exhale, imagining this snake-like light traveling through the major energetics of the body. And start at the tailbone and start to weave the breath back and forth along the spine up through the crown of the head. As you're inhaling, weaving this light up the spine, exhale out through the crown of the head. Growing a little bit longer in the side waist, extending the arms. We'll stay here for about another 10 full breaths. Allow the body to be still as you continue to breathe this weaving light up the spine and out through the crown of the head. One more round of breath right here in the middle. And then we'll start to create a half moon shape in the body. So the feet come off to the left and the arms to the left. And you can have the arms come off of your bolster if you'd like, pushing it out of the way. And now we'll just concentrate on the extension along the right side of the body, rather than that crossing light along the spine. Just breathing through the right side of the body. Fingertips, armpit, side waist, ribs, hip, and the right toes. Making minor adjustments As we hold the pose a little bit longer, maybe crossing the legs or braceleting the right wrist with the left fingers. Using the breath to wash away tension. Try to give more space in the body. 4 more rounds of breath on this side. And then unlace. We'll slide the heels towards the hips, feet apart, knees together, and just let the arms rest by the side. When you're ready, slide the legs out. Reach the arms back over the head and switch sides. You can start small, of course, and then slowly get a little bit deeper. Breathing all the way through the left side waist, toes outside of the leg, hip, rib cage, armpit, fingertips. Maybe a little adjustment, 4 or 5 more breaths here. Enlivening the left side of the body. And back to center. Arms come down, unlace the legs, slide the heels towards the hips. Just let the knees knock together, bringing the pelvis to neutral. From here, if you have a strap, you can use the strap. We're going to hug the knees into the chest. You wiggle around a little bit so that you can feel the skin get to move out of the way as we get the low back heavy on the floor. And if you have your strap, you'll loop both feet. And then press the soles of the feet up towards the ceiling. And of course, you can start with a little bend in the knee. And if you don't have a strap, that's okay. You can hold on to the backs of the legs. I'm trying to keep the spine relatively neutral. Arms heavy. Maybe pedal the feet as we press the soles of the feet up. That sensation of pushing the ceiling away. If you have to take little breaks, go ahead. If you feel rather comfortable with the legs up, you can reach the arms back over the head. But if that changes the low back at all, then bring the arms back down. Maintaining that sensation of the spine connected to the earth, but here the feet reaching up towards the sky. This is going to be one of the longer holds. So again, if you need to shift and make micro adjustments just to hold the essential form, go ahead. Notice what comes up with these longer holds, where you want to hold tension or any repetitive thoughts. And see if you can just breathe into the form. Stay with the breath. Melt the body back to the floor. Reach the soles of the feet. 5 more breaths. And then slowly hug the knees back to the chest. Plant the feet, move the strap out of the way, and slide the legs out. Bring the arms down if they are above your head, and just let your body rest in neutral for a moment. Feeling a flush at the hip creases. Maybe a little tingling in the toes or the fingers. And then we're going to use either a block or your bolster. It doesn't really matter which one. So you slide the heels towards the hips. We're going to place a prop between the knees and let the legs fall off to the left side. The torso can follow so that we're in a little ball on our side. And then you could stay here, or if it feels okay, you'll peel the right arm off to the side, creating a twist in the torso. If that right shoulder is up quite a bit, just unwind yourself a little bit. Start to breathe along the right side. Letting that left side of the body melt down to the floor. Feeling the coolness of the floor along the left hand and thigh. Soften the glutes if they're starting to fire. Maybe needing to tuck the tailbone back and forth a little bit just to encourage the hips to soften more. Three more breaths on this side. And you'll roll back onto your left side. Remove the block. Stay for a moment on the left. And then when you feel ready, take the block with you, roll back to center. Again, take a breath or so in center. Then we'll switch sides. Slipping the block or bolster between the knees, roll off to the right. When you feel ready, peel the left arm open. Ten long, deep breaths in this twist. Becoming aware of where the body wants to continue to squeeze and engage. See if you can soften and release. Maybe tuck the tailbone back and forth again, encouraging the hips to relax. One more breath here. And remove the block, roll back onto your right side for a moment. Roll back to your back. And just pause here for a breath. We're going to move back up to a seat, so just decide which side you want to roll off onto. And press yourself up. So we'll take the soles of the feet together and the knees apart in Baddha Konasana. Feel free to support the knees with blocks. But here we're going to, maybe if you'd like to, you could take your bolster to give a little bit of pressure to the inner thighs as you fold forward. You can move the flesh away from the sits bones and start to create an openness in the inner thighs with this weighted forward fold. And if it was useful, you can go back to the breath up and down the spine.
Dropping into the sensation of breathing along the spine. Connecting those energetic lines in the body. About halfway through, so another 7 to 10 breaths. Feeling the breath travel up and down the spine, jaw heavy, shoulders softening away, connecting the whole body to the earth.
Two more rounds of breath in this fold. And then we'll peel ourselves up, unfurling the spine and assist the legs together. Now hold on to the backs of the thighs and just tip back slightly, maybe getting a little low back adjustment. We'll set up with a little bit of a spine lift. So a heart bench, either with blocks, or you could just lay back on the bolster. And if you have your bolster and blocks, you could place bolster underneath the knees. And we'll just be here for a short while, coming on back. Support the head and the upper back. A nice big lift to the front side of the body since we did so much work in this back side and the side waist. So you can open up across the collarbones and the throat. So 10 breaths here. Once you get set up, and then if it feels like it's too much, just come on down. Jaw away from the skull, tongue heavy in the mouth. And so here, rather than that light going up the back side of the body, see if you can feel light traveling up the front side of the body. Awakening the abdomen, the heart space, and the throat. Brow point, crown of the head. Only 5 more breaths. Collarbones peeling away. And after this last round of breath here, press yourself back up, chin to the chest, push into the floor to lift the chest. So for the last 5 minutes, option to either just move to a comfortable seated position for quiet meditation, or just seated, or back onto the back. Totally up to how you'd like to spend the last 5 minutes. Closing the eyes, get yourself all situated. Just let the practice settle in. And you can start to deepen your breath. If you're on the floor, full body stretch. And if you're seated, a nice big stretch off to one side and the other. Hi, guys. And take the hands together at heart center. Big inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Let the chin drop to the chest to thank yourself for coming to a practice this morning. Thank you for joining me. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks, Kate. That was really nice.
Good, good.
Have
It did. I know it's been a couple weeks, so
It's very nice.
great.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Have a good day.
You too.
Thanks.